Hi! What's up, guys? Today I'm going to talk about the movies I am most looking forward to of the summer of 2019. So my most anticipated movie is Avengers Endgame, which comes out this April. I know it's technically still the spring, but I'm still going to consider this like a summer blockbuster just because of how huge it is. And it's with a bunch of superheroes and action, so it's a summer blockbuster to me. So change my mind if you disagree. So yes, this movie stars everybody, you know, from Infinity War and then a few more people. And it's also directed by the Russo brothers, who are from Cleveland, which makes this even that much more exciting because it's such a massive scale movie and people from my state are the ones making it, and it's just exciting because they've done an amazing job on The Winter Soldier, on Infinity War, Civil War. Man, a lot of war movies, right? My biggest concern with the movie though is if it's going to actually live up to the hype around Infinity War, and not even like looking at the numbers, is this movie gonna be as good? I hope it is. This is like the climax of the MCU up till now. And after this movie, they're gonna kind of change pace a little bit and they're gonna kind of change the direction of the MCU. So this movie's gonna kind of close some chapters, I'm pretty sure. And it's gotta be big, but it also has to be still a good story. It can't be boring. The movie, I think, is around 3 hours long, which is the longest MCU movie that we've had. I'm excited. What I do like about this movie so far, or at least the marketing, is that they're barely showing anything. They're showing only material from like the first 15 minutes, I'm pretty sure. And I think that's really smart of them because there's just so much they don't want to reveal. They want to keep a lot of surprise. You know, I remember back in 2017, before The Last Jedi actually came out, the director, Rian Johnson, who was saying, try not to watch any of the trailers, just be completely surprised by the movie. And even, I'm pretty sure, Adam Driver, he said something along the same lines, which after watching, I get. You know, there's a lot that happens, and I feel like sometimes marketing can mess up a movie. Look at The Amazing Spider-Man 2. The marketing for that film was awful, in my opinion, but I'm not like in marketing, but I still get advertised. So I think my opinion is valid. I felt like I knew everything about the movie before I even saw it. All I know about Avengers Endgame is basically like the first 15 minutes and a basic idea that they're going to try to, I guess, save the universe still somehow. That's it. My second most anticipated film of the summer has to be Godzilla, King of the Monsters. So if you don't know, I grew up with Godzilla, okay? I even have this guy, all right? I have like a bunch of other action figures that I don't like just display, but I decided like I should at least display this guy because it's like Godzilla, but I didn't want to like go overboard with it. So Godzilla, King of the Monsters is going to have at least 4 monsters, I'm pretty sure. So this movie is going to be more action-packed than the previous movie in this series, and I'm excited for it, you know? It's a monster movie, a giant monster movie. I think my biggest criticism of the previous film was the lack of big monster action. So in this movie, it looks like they're correcting that problem by having a ton of monsters in it. Of course, I still want there to be a coherent story, but I think as long as it is at least strong enough to carry a plot of huge monsters and make it entertaining, it doesn't need to be Academy Award winning writing or whatever. It just needs to be, this movie just needs to have a solid enough story that can support a lot of action, you know? That's why people want to see this movie. They want to see this movie for the action, you know? Of course, you know, you want to still have the human element to the film, but the main reason you're going to go see a monster movie is for monster action. So I hope there's more monster action. If the story has to suffer just a little bit to get more of that, then I guess that's fine. You know, Godzilla has always been about the action, and it's been more about the concept of Godzilla being a force of nature, the history behind the creation of Godzilla, and of course the atomic bombs, that he is a force of nature that punishes mankind in a way. But we also helped create Godzilla. I like the themes that go behind Godzilla and how different directors and writers interpret Godzilla. So I think it's interesting. And I know in this film, Godzilla is supposed to be a prehistoric monster, which is okay. This monster movie is going to have Godzilla, King Ghidorah, Mothra, Rodan, and apparently some other monsters as well. It's gonna be huge. And this is one of those movies I want to see on the big screen because, like the first Pacific Rim movie, it was fantastic to see it on the big screen. So next on my list is John Wick 3. I don't really need to say much about this because It's about John Wick. He is a brutal assassin out for revenge. And the first two are fun action movies, and it's gonna be cool to see what Keanu Reeves does in his third outing as John Wick. So now John Wick is a wanted man, and he has, I think, $14 million on his head. So a bunch of other assassins are gonna come after him and try to defeat him. I'm excited for this, just to see what happens. I'm hoping for even more ridiculous action, but really well choreographed action. The previous two films in this series were shot so well, and the choreography and the set design just all worked so well. And I'm excited to see what they can do with the third film. I'm not sure if it's gonna be the last one, but this film is looking like it's gonna be the last one. Who knows though? It's just gonna be a fun action movie. Next on my list is Spider-Man Far From Home. I'm excited for it because it is a new Spider-Man movie, and I've grown up with Spider-Man. I'm wearing a Venom sweatshirt, hoodie kind of thing. My problem with this movie already is it looks, I don't know, it looks good. I just don't want it to be over the top. And it already looks over the top. I understand we have Infinity War, which is already like a humongous film, but I just don't know if this is the right direction for Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Looks like it's just gonna be too massive of a movie, and I just don't want it to lose that same Spider-Man feel as all the other movies have. But at the same time, I'm excited to see where Spider-Man can go in Europe. You know, that's good. I think that's the selling point because it's something different. Mysterio looks cool. He's played by Jake Gyllenhaal, who was actually gonna be Spider-Man back in Spider-Man 2 before Tobey Maguire decided to stay on to the project. With that said, they're trying to paint Mysterio as a good guy in this movie. I hope his reveal as a bad guy isn't the big shock of the film. And I also hope that the other villains that we see in this film don't just turn out to be illusions. It won't be that big of a shock. So I hope they make this cool. I wish that they had Mysterio in New York City, and I wish that it became a movie about Peter in New York City. I don't know. I feel like Mysterio is a good villain, and he's on the same level as the Joker as far as all the trickery he does. So keeping Peter Parker in New York with Mysterio, I think would be more interesting, but I could be completely wrong. So I'm curious to see what they do with Mysterio and Spider-Man, and it'd be cool to see them fight, if they do, but it looks like they will. I just find it hard to believe that Peter can be Spider-Man around all of his friends on this trip in Europe, and they're not gonna suspect that Peter is Spider-Man. Because back in the first movie, we see Spider-Man doing his thing in DC while he's on a trip with his friends there. So they're gonna have to put two and two together. It's too big of a coincidence that Spider-Man would just keep appearing where Peter is, you know, in DC and in Europe. His friends have got to know, or they're gonna find out. Or it could all be an illusion and Peter is like stuck somewhere in New York City under Mysterio's spell. I don't know. I'm excited to see this movie. It's going to be different. We've had like 10 Spider-Man movies in the past 20 years, so it'll be cool to see something different for Spider-Man. We've never seen him go overseas, so let's see what happens. I'm also excited to see Samuel L. Jackson reprise his role as, of course, Nick Fury. That's gonna be fun to see, and it's gonna be really cool to see Spider-Man's new suit. I like the red and black a lot. So I like how MJ is portrayed in this new Spider-Man series. She is a little dorkier than in previous incarnations, but she's really cool. She is charming, she's funny, witty, and she's a geek, and she's cool. I think there's nothing wrong with being smart. It'll be cool to see what she does in this film. I hope she's not just like a damsel in distress. So yes, the new suit is awesome. Nick Fury is back. Tom Holland as Spider-Man. Zendaya as MJ. Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio. Mysterio, the setting of the film is in Europe. There are a lot of cool things happening in this movie. I guess my attention isn't really on it yet because of Avengers Endgame, so I'll be more excited for this movie after I see Endgame. Another movie I'm excited for is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, directed by Tarantino. Movie looks really fun so far. We've only gotten one trailer, but I expect a lot from Tarantino. I like a lot of his movies, and so it'll be cool to see how he does this one. We have Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt alongside a lot of other awesome actors and actresses, so I'm excited. I'm also excited for Toy Story 4. I grew up with Toy Story and I like the previous three a lot, and it'll be cool how they end this series. I'm pretty sure this is the final film. I previously did a review of the trailer and it looks really fun. You know, it's definitely still kid oriented, but it definitely can relate to an older audience. It looks funny, it looks like it's gonna be a fun adventure. It looks like anybody can go see this film. Another movie I am excited for is Pokemon Detective Pikachu. It stars Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu, and that alone, I'm sold. It looks funny, and the CGI looks really, really good. It could be funny, it could be action-packed. The movie could really take people by surprise. It could be really, really good. So I'm looking forward to it because it's a live-action Pokemon movie that's never really been done before. So bring it on. So that wraps up the movies I am most looking forward to for the summer of 2019. What movies are you most excited for? Let me know. Let's talk about it. Summer movies are usually my favorites, so I'm excited. You know, there might be some other movies that I forgot to mention. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. It's starring Ryan Reynolds as Pokemon.